Hello everyone, hope everyone is doing well. Today we're going to learn about the concept of producer surplus, consumer surplus, and total surplus. So let's start with consumer surplus. Consumer surplus is basically the total gain that consumers get when they buy the product. So every time we buy something, the amount of gain or happiness or utility we get from that product is what we call consumer surplus. And basically, for each consumer, there is a willingness to pay, or what we call WTP, for a product. So this is basically the highest amount you are willing to pay for that product. So for some people, let's say they want to buy Coca or some soda. So some people may be willing to pay $10 for one can. Maybe they haven't had soda for a long time and now they really want it, so they're willing to pay $10. Some people may be willing to pay just $1 for one can of soda. Or some people may be willing to pay $1.50 for the same one can of soda. So these are all their willingness to pay. This is the maximum amount they're willing to pay for that product. Now, as you see, it is different for different people. Some people value a product a lot. Some people value a product not as much. So it is basically dependent upon the person's internal value. Now, if the price of the soda equals $1.25, okay, then only the people whose willingness to pay is higher than the price will buy the product. So only those with a WTP that is greater than price will buy the product. So from here we can see that this person will, yes, definitely buy the product if it's $1.25. This person, they value it $1, but the price is $1.25, so this person will not buy the product. This person will buy the product. So what we would say is the consumer surplus for this product for each person is the difference between what they value minus what they paid. So for the first individual, we can say consumer surplus equals 10 minus 1.25, which would be 8.75. Okay, this person did not buy it, so the consumer surplus is, for this person, is 0. For this person, they valued it at 150. The product is at 125, so the total value is, for this person, the extra gain that they feel is 0.25. So what does this number mean? This number is a little theoretical because, it depends upon our preferences for that product. But this 8.75 is saying us, you can think about it, this is the gain from the product. That is, how much did I gain from that product? So because I consumed that product. So now the consumer surplus in the market, since we have these two people, it is going to be 8.75 plus 0.25, which equals to 9. Now this is if there's only these three people in the market and we wanted to calculate the consumer surplus of these three people. But we know that there are hundreds or even thousands of people operating in a market. How do we find their consumer surplus? So let's look at this demand and supply curve that's here. So the highest amount that a person is willing to pay is $50. And then there's another person who may be willing to pay 49.5 or 48. If we lined up all the buyers from their highest willingness to pay to their lowest willingness to pay, we would get basically this demand curve. Now, if the price is 30, what we will do is we will use the same idea as here. So for this person, the consumer surplus is going to be this area. For this person, it is going to be this area, and so forth. So it's going to be all these vertical distances that we have. We measure all these vertical distances, basically the willingness to pay, which is given by the demand curve. And the price, which is we have here. So that would be difficult. Now, if we have to add all these lines, fortunately, what we can do is we can just find the area of that region. And it looks like a triangle, and usually we will draw a triangle for that. So it's that area of the triangle. Now, notice that people here, so a person whose willingness to pay is 20, this person is like this person. This person will not buy the product, so will not participate in the market. So then, if this is a triangle, then my total consumer surplus will be half times the base times the height. The base, I can say, is going to be 50 minus 30, which is going to be 20. And let's say the height is going to be this number, which is 100. Oops, I didn't want to do that. 100. So then my consumer surplus will be half times 20 times 100, which comes out to be $1,000. So another interpretation of this consumer surplus is the consumer surplus is $1,000. It means that collectively the consumers have gained $1,000 by consuming that product. So in a way, you can think about it that this is, they would be, if given the choice, as a collectively, the consumers would have paid $1,000 extra to buy this product. But right now, they didn't pay that $1,000 extra, so it feels like they have gained that amount, which they can use to buy some other product. So just like consumer surplus, we also have producer surplus. So let me copy this down there, and then we can talk about producer surplus. So I can delete this part. I don't need that. Now, producer surplus is going to be the gain producers get by participating in the market. So just like for, we said that if you remember how we derived the supply curve, we said that for each price, what is the amount that they were willing to supply? So, let's look at this $20. $20, seller was willing to supply, let's say 50. But at $20, yes, they're willing to sell it at $20, and they would have produced 50, but they're able to actually get a price of $30. So just like producer surplus, if this seller participated in the market, they would have gained an additional gain of 30 minus 20, which is $10. So again, let's look at 3 suppliers. Let's say supplier 1 would have sold it only if the price is equal to 40. Supplier 2 would only sell if price equals 10. And supplier 3 would have only sold if the price equals 25. Now the actual market prices equal to 30. Think about it. You may also think about it. These are the costs to production. So this is what it costs for each of those sellers to produce those products. So in that case, if the market price is 30 and the cost is 40, then we know that this seller will not participate in the market. This seller will gain 30 minus 10, which equals to 20. This seller will also will gain 25 minus 30, or actually, sorry, 30 minus 25, which is 5. So then the total producer surplus here, that is collectively how much does the producers or the suppliers gain by participating in the market. You can also think about it as like it's a rough measure of their profit would be the $20 from the second seller and the $5 from the third seller, so it would be 25. So just like consumer surplus, we added all these vertical red lines to find what is the producer surplus. So consumer surplus, sorry. So for producer surplus, we will add the vertical distance of all these green lines to find what it is. So again, the height remains 100. The base, if we consider this to be a triangle, the base will be 30. I'm erasing this 20 so it doesn't confuse anyone. Then my producer surplus is half times the base times the height, which is half times 100 times 30, which comes up to be $1,500. Okay. So then my total producer surplus here is $1,500. So think about it as the total profit all the firms gain by participating in this market. Actually, let's just write it as producer surplus. So then my total surplus is equals to consumer surplus plus producer surplus, which equals to $1,000 that we calculated before, plus $1,500, which equals to $2,500. So this number is telling us this 2,500 is the total gain to society because this market exists. Because consumers are buying it at 30, but they feel like they would have paid $1,000 more collectively to get this same 100 units. Sellers are producing this 100 units and they are getting an additional of $1,500 of benefit. So in total, the society is gaining $2,500 because this product is existing. So this shows us that markets are important, and markets tend to, at this price, at the market clearing price, total surplus is maximized. Hopefully this was helpful in understanding what is producer surplus and consumer surplus. I will see you at a later video. Have a good day.